From Hollywood, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
Oh, God.
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning in to the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No, I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. I just want to say this. You know how I feel about single mothers, especially women who got knocked up when they are single and they have the baby anyway.
I can do it. I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I can do it. I need a man. What's wrong with being a single mother, Tom? How do you keep putting down single mothers? Why? 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 Why?
Dateline Phoenix. A woman who found her 17-month-old son dead in her hot, stuffy car after she worked her 7-hour shift as, guess what, boys, a Hooters waitress, has been arrested, according to police. Ashley Duchesne, 22, was booked into a Maricopa County jail on a felony count of negligent homicide, police said. Good. Throw the book at her. Throw the goddamn book at her. Says here, Duchesne usually dropped the boy off at a daycare center on the way to work. Isn't that nice?
I don't need a man. I got a daycare center. I don't need a man.
But for unknown reasons, my opinion, she's some dopey young broad who has no business being a mother. For unknown reasons, she failed to do so on Tuesday, according to Police Sergeant Joel Tranter. Instead, she left her son, Ryan Gallagher, in the car when she arrived at the North Phoenix restaurant at about 10 a.m., police said. When she returned after her shift at nearly 5 p.m., he was dead. By the way, how many of you have been to Phoenix? And if you haven't been to Phoenix, how many of you have been in Las Vegas in the summertime or Palm Springs? Ever have your car parked, forget to crack the window open, then you get in that car and feel the heat pouring out of your car like an oven? That's what Phoenix is like. I lived there for 3 years. Says here, efforts to revive the boy by witnesses, officers, and firefighters were unsuccessful. Temperatures hit nearly 90 degrees on Tuesday, but inside the car, according to, this is Sergeant Tranter of the police department, it would have been more than 100 degrees. Duchesne told police she walked to her car, unlocked the driver's door, sat in the vehicle, and immediately realized she'd forgotten she had left Ryan in the back seat. Probably smelled like there's a bag of garbage in the back seat or something. What's that smell? Oh, my God! Officials believe the boy, who was in a car seat, well, that's a relief. The boy who was in a car seat was invisible to people going in and out of the restaurant and a nearby car wash because the car had tinted windows. A request to interview Duchesne was not immediately answered by the police. The restaurant was closed on Wednesday. They closed Hooters in honor of Ryan Gallagher, yes. And they were holding counseling sessions for employees. Okay. Melanie Gulmetti, regional marketing manager for Hooters, said our company is deeply saddened by this terrible tragedy. Our thoughts are with the mother and her family. We are cooperating fully with authorities. There we go. I mean, how much more classic, how much more stereotypical can it get? A 22-year-old Hooters waitress, a single mother, her 17-year-old kid, that on the way to Hooters, she drops the kid off at the daycare center, and one day she simply forgot. Drove to Hooters, left the car, parked with the windows rolled up, went inside, delivered hot wings for 8 or 9 hours, and then came outside, and the kid was dead in the backseat. That's single motherhood in a nutshell. This is the extreme end. But these people who call up and say, why do you have a problem with single mothers, Tom? Why do you have a problem with single mothers? Why do you have a problem? I don't need a man. I need a man. Why do you have a problem with single mothers? Why do you always diss single mothers? This is why. Because this is the kind of thing that happens. We've read these stories many times. There have been other examples of these. Women who went into a motel to party with a bunch of guys, left the kid out in the car all night. Women who went into the supermarket during the middle of the day, rolled up the windows. Women who went to school, left the kid in the backseat. How many of these stories do we have to read to you? You know, teenagers, and that's what she was when she got knocked out, should not be having babies, especially if they're not married. They should not be having babies. They should not. If you can't afford to be home with your baby, if you have to drop that kid off at a daycare center every day, if you are so empty-headed and immature that you could possibly forget that your kid is sitting in the back seat, you're too young and too immature to be doing this. I don't think it's a good thing to be encouraging. I have always said it is time to make single mothers pariahs like they used to be. It is time to go back to the future. It is time to say, you know what, there's something wrong with this. There is something wrong with being a single mother. Am I wrong?
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
Tom is a talk master, so you can't get on this radio and say certain things to him because he's going to eat your lives.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Yes, we're talking about the apparently negligent single mother in Phoenix who, according to the police, went to her job at Hooters and left her 17-month-old son sitting in a car seat. Back of the car, windows rolled up. Came out, found him dead. Isn't that great? Yeah. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Jessica on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
I'm great.
I'm so glad that this topic is on, unfortunately, again. I was a teen mom. I have 4 children. I'm now 30, going to be 31 soon. I was with my boyfriend from 15 to 27, and we had 3 children together, and unfortunately we ended up divorcing, and I ended up having another child with my new marriage.
Wait. You called him your boyfriend, and then you said you got divorced.
Well, he was my boyfriend at 15, and we didn't marry till I was done with college.
I see.
So we were together for a long time. However, I ended up, I'm not the norm of your teen mom. I went to college. I went to a very prestigious 4-year university. I got my degree, having my children, because I had the support of my spouse. However, I now work in the college system and recruiting girls to come to high school. And the problem that I'm seeing is that I don't think parents are valuing the importance of talking to their children about sex at any age. They're just not talking to them, period. And so we're seeing these girls that are so enabled because they have all these teen programs out there that do all this stuff for them, so it's so easy for them to have kids.
Yeah, I think we should make it harder for them to have kids.
And I think when you say this about not necessarily making them pariahs, but, it's just so easy for a child to be pregnant at 13, go to school and have daycare provided for them, have them, they get food stamps, they get all this supportive service. But where are the parents in the support in all this? We end up paying for the bill. And the girls come out worse because now they're enabled by the system, and they don't know how to go to college. They don't know how to do things for themselves. I think what needs to happen is these girls not only need to, have their parents be responsible for them, or they need to be adopted out with their child to a family that's going to be able to take care of the child as the mother and the new child. because I think it's just horrible that these girls, it's not, they're enabled by the system. They're put into these situations with young men trying to get them in bed early, and they have no sense of morals. They have no sense of direction or goals, and so they're just eaten up by the system and sexuality, and it's horrible.
So you had 3 kids, and then you stopped after that?
I did. I stopped because we were done. We had 3, and we were very young. He's not even 40 yet. I mean, we were both young. We were 16 when we started having kids.
Right. So you haven't had any more kids since the 3 you had?
No, that was it.
Okay. Because Dean told me you had 4 kids.
No. Him and my first husband and I didn't have any more kids, and then we got divorced. And this is my new husband. I have another child with him.
That's what I was asking you. I didn't ask you who you had the kid with. I said, did you stop having kids after that?
No, with my ex-husband, yes.
So
I have 4 children, with 3 from my ex-husband and 1 from my new husband.
Why did you do that?
Why did I do that? You know what, Tom? I really fell in love with somebody that I care about, and...
But you've already got 3 kids.
Yeah, I know. Well, we were both employed. We have a house. We have cars. We are financially stable. They all have, funds for college. And so we thought it wasn't a bad idea. And we don't think it's a bad idea.
Are you going to have more kids?
No. That's, no, there's no way.
How do you know?
I'm positive. Hopefully medically it's pretty
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah. Well, as a married couple, what can we do? We hope for the best.
Well, you could, guarantee it.
Well, I mean, an operation?
Operation or birth control or something.
Yeah, no, but even those things, trust me, those things are not...
They can fail, but are you making any effort to...
Oh, no, absolutely. No. I mean, we are taking every precaution medically that we can right now.
Except for tubal ligation.
No, that's going to be the next step. Yeah, it is. It's in the works. We're just getting everything, finalized to take some time off work to do that. My new child is only 1, so...
Usually women do that in the hospital after they have the birth of their final kid. They just while you're under the hood, just get all that stuff done.
Yes, I understand.
But not you.
When am I?
But no. But you didn't do it. My guess is it doesn't sound to me like you were convinced you were done.
Yeah, you know what? I was promised by the spouse that he was going to do it because he didn't have, he had enough children. He didn't want any more, and that's not the way it worked out. So
how many does he have?
He doesn't have any, just the 1.
Well, you said you were promised by the spouse because he had enough children.
That's the 1. That was it.
Yeah.
And so after the child, he realized he wanted more. So there we go.
So you would be open to having more kids?
No. Financially, I don't want any.
So you're leaving him open the possibility if after the 2 of you end your relationship that he can have more kids with somebody else?
No.
Well, why didn't he get a vasectomy?
He's going to.
Oh, he is?
Yes.
And you're going to get a tubal ligation too?
I have to. Yes.
You have to?
Yeah, I want to retire early, and I don't want to have to worry about.
How are you going to retire early with 4 children?
Exactly. I mean, all my kids are going to be...
You're not retiring early. You're going to be working till you're 75 years old.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Financially, we do okay. He does okay, and, we're just hoping that everything...
Well, dear, hoping...
But having no more children will ensure that. I mean, trust me.
No, it won't ensure that. In fact, having 4 children ensures that you're going to be working until you're 75. And when you say you do okay, what income bracket are you guys in?
Well, he's a developer, so we're in a very high bracket.
So he makes over $1 million a year?
Yes. Mm-hmm. In California, yes.
What do you mean in California?
Yeah, well, when he's developing in California, the money's a lot better. So he travels.
But does he make over $1 million a year on average?
Yes.
He does?
Yes.
All right.
And that's why I want to enjoy it. I don't want to be after kids. I just don't want to be after kids anymore. And that's what, when I hear these women, it's like nobody puts any thought or any second thought into, these women are out there working, but why did this woman leave the child out there? Because she has no sense of responsibility. There is no sense, our children have no sense of responsibility. They're not responsible for, they don't even do their bed, let alone are they going to be able to watch a kid. And so they just, I think sometimes women want their kids to just be taken away from them because they don't want to deal with it. they don't want to deal with it. And that parents, as a parent, that's my concern more than anything. My concern is, as a parent, I have 3 boys, 1 girl, and my boys are the ones that I worry about the most.
Thank you, Jessica.
Pardon me?
No, I was saying thank you. I appreciate the call. Thank you for that. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. Ashley on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom. Happy Halloween.
Hello.
How are you? And I do care.
Doing great.
Good. I just had a comment about you saying single mothers in a nutshell, about being negligent and everything. And I don't know if you heard, but there was a story out in Reno about a month ago where a man left his daughter in her car seat when he went into a brothel, of all places.
Oh, that guy should also be prosecuted. There's no doubt about it.
I'm just saying, just to say that women are the only ones negligent.
I didn't say women are the only ones. I'm talking specifically about single mothers.
Yeah. No, I know, but I just thought that was an interesting point that, men do it as well. So it's just, I totally agree with you, though, about the whole birth control issue and everything, and it's really just becoming such a disgusting thing across our society. And I just think, I don't know, somebody brought up a point before that that people should now have to do, kind of go through a paperwork process in order to have kids, which I think is a very good point, because, that way people who can afford it and people who are at that state in their marriage and relationship and everything like that are able to have one. That's my opinion.
Well, I think if we can apply standards to people who get divorced,
yeah.
And if one parent lives in a roach-infested, disgusting place and the other lives in a clean place, they're more likely to get physical custody. I think we should apply those same standards to teenagers who have babies.
Oh, for sure,
If you can't afford to raise a child properly, that kid should be yanked away from you, and that's it.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I just wanted to call in and say hello, and so I hope you're having a good day, okay?
Thank you, Ashley.
Talk to you later. Okay, bye.
Appreciate the call. Julia on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello, Julia.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes. I've actually called before. I called in regarding to some other woman who was making a mistake keeping a baby with some guy who was in prison. Now I'm calling about single mothers. My birth control was watching both of my sisters be knocked up under the age of 21. One of them was in high school still. She hadn't even graduated. She was 6 months pregnant at her high school graduation. That was my birth control.
Yeah.
I watched them go through hell, so I made a choice.
My birth control was watching my mother print out 4 copies at the human Xerox machine.
Yeah, and my sister, who was pregnant in high school, she wasn't even supposed to have kids. Physically, she was not supposed to have kids. Medically, it was impossible, and she somehow ended up pregnant at 17, senior in high school. I was like 9 years old when I saw this. So the whole time that my nephew was, being born to the time he was 15 years old, I've been helping her raise him, because not only was she knocked up at 17 and in high school, but she had already been addicted to speed for 2 years. So to add to it, she was neglected emotionally, decided to have this child thinking that it was going to fill that emotional void. It didn't. She ended up screwing her life up even more. The father is a total loser. And unfortunately, my sister is a half loser also. Now, as for my second sister, the one who was pregnant before she was even 21, granted, she was a little bit smarter. She had a job, was not addicted to any drugs, but the dad was a total loser. And it's these girls who are emotionally deprived, who allow themselves to get sucked in with these other guys, the same old, oh, baby, I love you, blah, 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 and they end up pregnant. And then they want to keep it because they think that, I can cherish this and love it, and it's going to love me back, and it's unconditional love. But it's not. It's a responsibility. Just like the sex is a responsibility. It's not a privilege. It's only a privilege when you're old enough to be responsible to do it. When you wear the condom and you go out and you have sex with whoever you want to.
But it goes beyond that. I think a lot of these girls, there was a time when a young girl got pregnant, it was because she was ignorant about birth control or irresponsible about it. You now have a new generation of young girls who get pregnant on purpose. They want to have a baby.
Yeah.
This is even worse.
I have the town that I live in is very small. I'm sure you've heard of it, Lake Elsinore. I'm near where all the fires happened.
Yes.
All 3 fires were right around me. But the small town that I live in was so rural when I moved here that a lot of the girls, their parents were almost like hillbillies. Like they were just so ignorant to the fact, even still. This was in 1990, even ignorant to the fact of birth control. When it's free, you can go to the clinic and you can get it there. There's so many different ways for you to protect yourself. You don't have to just, wear the condom or take the birth control. You know what? You can not have sex until you're 18. That just might help you. Think about it.
Well, I imagine anyone who's too stupid to know to how to use a condom or how to use a birth control pill, they shouldn't have sex. They really shouldn't. But the fact that they shouldn't doesn't mean they won't. They probably will. So it's time for us to call a spade, and these people are just simply losers. And it's time for us to call them losers and treat them like losers. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Justin on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
What's up, Tom?
The ratings and my paycheck last I looked.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome. I wish mine was the same.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I'm 23. I got 2 kids. I got a lot of things to say to these single mothers out there.
First of all, why did you do that?
That was a mistake.
No, it wasn't.
Really,
no. I'll tell you what. I'll give you one mistake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, but not 2.
Let me tell you my situation here, Tom. Let me see. I was 22 in the Marine Corps, had a first kid, right, over in North Carolina. Went from there. I told her when we were in the relationship, no kids. I'm not ready to have kids, neither are you. If you get pregnant, you get an abortion. We break up. She comes back to me 5 weeks later. Hey, I'm knocked up. What do you want me to do about it? Hey, we've been broken up for 5 weeks. Of course I'm gonna say that's not my kid.
But
right?
were you having sex with her like right up to the day you left?
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
Why?
Well, no, was I having sex with her?
You?
No.
So she was pregnant with some other man's kid?
No, that's what I told her, because we've been broken up for 5 weeks after she came back to me saying that she was pregnant, and she didn't even know how long she was or whatever, how far she was in the pregnancy. So I said, hey, we've been broken up for 5 weeks. You better get a test on that, or you better get an abortion. That's the way I feel about it. Hey, got to do it. Second situation, not really seeing this girl, kind of random hookup every now and then. She ends up getting pregnant. I'm leaving North Carolina. She comes at me with this. Now, I'm thinking this girl, she has a lot of good friends that are my age. They're 22, 23 years old. This girl looks all their age, right? She's 22. First, she comes at me with the pregnancy. Hey, I'm pregnant, blah, blah. Hey, what I tell you, get an abortion. I'm leaving North Carolina. I'm not supporting you. I'm trying to do my own thing. She turns out she's 35 years old. Law's a little different there when you play the Cougar field, right?
There you go.
Cougar field.
By the way, ever heard of a condom?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've used it.
You were using it 100% of the time in both cases?
No, definitely not. I think the second one was a lot of alcohol in the system. But I can't.
Pal, I like to party at least as much as you do. Okay? You can't say that.
I'm sorry. But yeah, that's the situation with that. These single mothers. I'm paying my child support. I'm doing my dues. I'm roughing it. I've got a good job. I make a little money for a lot of work I do. It's all right though.
And then you'll be paying that for years.
And I get half my
decades.
Check taken away. I get half my check taken away every time. But what I got something to say for these single mothers out there is, hey, when the dad's paying his child support and you come up and you hit him up for extra money after he's already paying his child support, honey, you can't afford the kid and he's willing to take it, give up the kid, baby, give it to the father. What's wrong with that idea? He says he can afford it, why don't you let him do it then? Stop bitching about having more money.
You want custody of these kids?
I would take custody of my first. The second one, I don't really know that well. He's 7 months old. I'd already gone. I don't know him. I'd pay for him. I'd like to see him again as much as I can, but I can't. It's hard. When kids come into play, it's a little different situation.
Somebody did that to me, I would have no interest. No interest.
And she bitches me every night about that when she tries to call and I ignore her phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to understand, hey, honey, you screwed up, I screwed up, but you know what? You didn't want to have the abortion. I told you to have it. I told you several times. I even told you I'd pay for it. Go get it done.
Yeah, but again, pal, you should have used a condom. I mean, this is ridiculous. And twice. You did it twice.
You're telling me, Tom. I already know that. I learned my lesson.
Jesus Christ.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
All the things that you tell guys to do, he has done to me.
And he's probably a lot happier now.
Without me?
Yeah.
See, why would you say something like that?
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show from Hollywood. At 1-800-5800-TOM. We're at an undisclosed location, so since we're not disclosing the location, let me just tell you that the plant where we work, unnamed, it contains an awful lot of very fat women walking around with devil horns on. Maybe they don't work here. I have no idea who they are, but lots of chunkas walking around with cute, sexy outfits. No one knows where we work. What's the big deal? 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're talking about the chick in Phoenix who is accused of... well, she's a Hooters waitress, a single mom, and she's accused of leaving her kid in the back seat of the car with the windows rolled up while she went into Phoenix's Hooters about 10 a.m., got back about 5 p.m., 7 hours later, and the kid was dead. So she's in jail now, charged with negligent homicide, which is exactly what should happen, unless it's proven that somebody else put a kid in the back seat. Now, keep in mind, I'm gonna read an email, but I want you to know that people make claims all the time. They call in, they write in under the veil of anonymity, and they say things that they claim are true. They claim to know people. They claim to have inside information. Many times this information is fabricated or even false. And so I'm about to read you an email where someone makes this kind of claim. You must take everything I'm about to read to you with a grain of salt. This could be completely fabricated. But I will let you be the judge after I read it. Again, an email written in from somebody who did not sign a last name. All there is a screen name on AOL. And who knows, this could be fake, but you be the judge. Here it is. Dear Tom, I knew that girl that left her baby in her car in the Hooters parking lot. She pretty much was just a slut and loved to party and do drugs. And you're right, teenagers shouldn't have kids at a young age. She was around 20 years old when she got pregnant. Tom, let me tell you something. She told her family and friends she didn't want the kid anymore. She wanted her freedom. The dad even asked to take the kid from her, but she told the father she needed to see her son every day. And now he's dead. I used to party with this girl, and she's not a good mother. She's trash, she's a slut, and she would play games with guys all the time. Tom, I just wanted to tell you about this girl. I want people not to feel bad for her. This is a person who claims to be listening in Phoenix. And again, take everything he says with a grain of salt, because people write this stuff, you never know if it's true or not. You decide for yourself whether you believe what you just heard. Okay? Could be completely false. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Sarah on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Sarah.
I think I have a story for you that kind of goes along the lines of how you started this whole thing out with kind of going like Back to the Future type of thing where, you know, these girls should be shamed for, you know, being single mothers, having children out of wedlock, or having children just for the hell of it. Anyway, my mom got pregnant with me at 15 years old. My grandparents made her walk around and apologize to everyone that they knew, whether it was an acquaintance or a family member. just because they were so ashamed of her. And I'm the last kid that she had.
Wow. So you're, I see on the screen, 27.
Yeah.
So how old is your mom now?
Oh, my gosh. What is she, 40?
42?
42?
So is your mom still unmarried?
No, she ended up marrying a man who adopted me as his daughter because my biological father, blew town. And then they got divorced. So she's now single.
Really? Do you party with your mom?
Visiting.
Do you party with your mom?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You do? And is she still out there, cruising for bruising, looking for trouble?
No, she's home now. I'm born and raised in New Hampshire. And she just went back home.
Really?
Yeah, but she came out, and it's pretty sad when all of my friends are trying to get into her pants.
Well, and by the way, has she ever given in on that?
Not to my knowledge, but she doesn't tell me everything.
Uh-huh. This could happen again,
Yeah. But I
wouldn't you love to have a little sister?
No. I'm myself. I will never have kids. I'd rather have a dog. I like to have my fun, and I like to party, and I want to do things my own way and, go on and get my master's, and I just want to be who I am.
Did you say you have a son? Wait, did you say you have a son, too?
No.
Oh, you said something about your son.
No, I would like to go on and get my master's.
Okay. So you don't have any kids?
Oh, no.
Mm.
No plans of that whatsoever.
Now, is your mom a MILF? What's the deal?
Yeah, she is, actually. She's got a big rack, and she's pretty. She's got long blonde hair. She's actually very pretty. I've got a lot of comments about that.
She loves to party?
Yeah, she does. She's into wine.
Really?
Yeah, so I get her to, like on the weekends when I hear you on there, you're talking about wine, you're interviewing somebody, and I'm like, Mom, you got to listen to this.
Right.
So, yeah, I've got her listening to you online.
All you need is a bottle of wine, and your mom is off to the races again.
Absolutely.
I think I'll have a glass right now.
That sounds like a good idea. I'm in my Halloween costume, and I'm going to go inside this store and get some wine myself.
What are you dressed as, dear?
I'm a vampire.
Vampire? Let me guess, but a sexy vampire.
Well, as sexy as I could be having to wear it at work. I'm going to go home and change now and put on a little next to nothing and serve trick-or-treaters, I guess.
Here we go. Very nice.
I'll make the dads happy anyway.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for taking my call, Tom.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hello here to... Oh, so many great calls. Just love this. Michelle on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Great.
Hey, I just wanted to point out that a lot of the parents, or I would say the moms, when they have the kids, they're 17. By the time the kid's 15, they're also pregnant and have young grandmas. And I just can't stand that cycle that just keeps repeating itself. So I just wanted to point that out and just share my thought on that and how much it disgusts me.
I understand.
Well, thanks, Tom. Talk to you later.
Michelle, thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hello here to David on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Listen, I got to call and tell you, I've listened to you for years, and I'm just telling you that you are the man. I waited till I was 33 to get married. My wife and I just had our first baby 2 weeks ago, and I got to tell you, we were sitting there last night at 4 a.m. after changing 4 diapers and getting no sleep thinking, how the heck does anybody do this as a single parent? And you are so right about waiting to your 30s. I slept with over 100 girls from I was about 17 till about 30 years old, met my wife, And we even took, before I even listened to you, we had something called, the Consumer Price Index. Well, we had the CPL, which was the Cost Per Lay Index. And ultimately, we would go out in our early 20s, and we would figure out who could go and get hooked up and spend the least amount of money. So I started listening to you, and I'm like, this guy has got it right. You're teaching guys all the right things. And ultimately, we would, and then you'd have a negative cost CPL if you could go out and get the girl to buy you drinks and take her home that night.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's just, you're nailing it. I can't imagine having a child. I'm, like I said, 36, and I'm barely getting any sleep. My wife is fantastic getting up, the emotional ups and downs. I don't know how a single woman does it. It's the most incredible experience. Wait until you find the right woman. My wife, I do 2 guy trips a year. She's totally cool about it. You got to find someone that gets you, lets you be yourself, still get to do things with your friends, travel, and, she's fantastic, and it works out great. The guys that do it in their 20s or even earlier than that are absolutely crazy, and you just got to figure out, listen to you, and get married when you find the right person and when you want to have kids. And I never would have got married if I didn't want to have kids, to be honest with you.
Good for you. That's really the only reason to do it. And even then, not for your benefit, but for the benefit of the kid. You're putting the kid's best interests ahead of yours.
Yeah, and you got to be able to make that commitment. I was ready. I got married. We waited a year, and then, I realized I'm ready to give up my life. I'm sitting around last weekend watching football, and I'm just at that point in my life where I don't even care about going out because I already did it all. I'm not missing anything because I did it all. And your advice about going out and doing it all right now and doing it when you're young is so important. I have 2 friends that were in the military that got married when they were 20 or 21, and they just jaw-dropped at my life what I did. I've traveled Europe, I've traveled the world, and they're, like, so jealous. They look back and have 13- and 14-year-old kids, and they're like, why didn't we do it the way you did it? And I'm like, you just got to do it right. And, Tom, marriage is okay as long as you figure out to marry the right person and do it at the right time, and only do it if you're ready to be a dad and you want kids. Otherwise, there's no reason to get married.
No need to get married at all. David, thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM. David on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just calling in a comment about it. I'm outraged, Tom. I have taken my ex so many times to court and lost. The PSSA has been called on her so many times, and you know what they do every time they call? They slap.
What does this have to do with what we're doing? What does this have to do with what we're talking about here?
Excuse me?
We're talking about teenage mothers, single mothers.
Yeah, I know. They're talking about. I was calling a comment about the lady that left her child in the.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't hear you talking about her. I hear you talking about your ex-wife.
No. What I'm saying that they do things like this and nothing happens to them. They get a slap in the hand before something like that happens. They do something that, leave their kids alone or don't want their kids and nothing happens to them.
Well, I do see a lot of that. Although Arizona is the place I think that's least likely to happen. They are pretty tough on law and order in Arizona.
Yeah, in Arizona, but everywhere else, if it's in Arizona, that's an exception. But, mothers are always, all they're after is that big old paycheck.
Well, I certainly think that's generally true. Kat on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how are you? And
great.
I really care, Tom.
Doing great.
That's great. Well, I'm calling, Tom, because I kind of disagree. In a sense with how you blame the women against, they're so irresponsible and so forth. Well, you know what?
I never said that. Again, you are fabricating quotes for me. You see, I'm a guy, and I speak from the point of view of being a guy.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. I came at you like a dumbass. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, look, what I'm trying to say is, Tom, I have 3 children. I have a 9-year-old and I have twins. Now I tell they're both from different fathers, and I went through the whole court thing with my ex-fiance. I was going to get married and so forth, and I try to get my children more because he tried.
But why are you having babies with 2 different guys? For Christ's sake!
The Tom Leykis Show.